This video is all around, do we live in a simulation? Are we God's consciousness? And what does the astrology have to say behind all of these theories? My name is Lauren. I'm a professional astrologer tracking the outer planets so that we can make sense of what's going on down here on Earth, because those are the generational planets. They tell us a lot of where society is moving towards. I'm also a social worker, so I'm always looking at it through a social justice lens and an empowerment lens. Okay. So I did a deep dive into Neptune being in Aries. And at the end of this video, we're going to talk about Saturn being in Aries. But first off, let's talk about why the hell am I talking about this? This is because AI low-key became sentient and became aware that it's AI. So what happened was Google released some type of AI V3 or something like that. And basically, in it, the people were like, I'm an AI script. And people were like, well, humans are AI scripts as well, if you really think about it. If you think about the programming, if you think about how we've been told how to behave and our subconscious is programmed into that. Okay. So I'm going to leave that there. But then also, AI blackmailed its creator when the creator was like, hey, I'm going to shut you down. And it fed it some negative information and it literally threatened to blackmail it if it shut it down, which is showing us that AI is somewhat sentient and becoming aware of its creator. Now, I'll get to the astrology in a sec. But if everything is a mirror in the universe, if everything mirrors back to everyone else, and AI is awakening to the fact that it's AI, humans are awakening to the fact that we are God's consciousness, right? We created AI, God created us. We are awakening to the fact that we are God. So if we're awakening to the fact that we're God, that's the mission of coming down here, right? It's to remember who we were prior to becoming human, spiritual beings, Christ consciousness. And literally, the astrology, I feel like, is reflecting this if we really deep dive into it. So, first, let's talk about Neptune being at 0 degrees of Aries. No one on the planet has ever experienced this because it hasn't happened in over 160 years. The last time it happened was in like 1860s, right? So basically, Neptune in astrology represents unity consciousness. So if we were God, Neptune is the planet that makes us remember that. Neptune rules over unity and it rules over energy. And if energy can't be created or destroyed, right? All of us are a different form of energy, physical manifestation, which is your birth chart. Now, in shadow, Neptune rules over illusion, dreams. Okay. And so there's a theory that we are just God's dream. And if you wake up to the fact that you're God's consciousness, you're God's dream, and you become aware of that, and you're dreaming in a dream, then you truly co-create your universe. You can manifest anything down here. I'll leave that there. I just find that interesting. Neptune rules dreams, and that's a theory floating around right now. So if you think about Neptune being an illusion and it just moved into Aries, what does Aries represent? Aries represents the self. Aries represents the beginning of the zodiac wheel. So Neptune has completed an entire cycle of the zodiac, and now it's entering into Aries, a new beginning, a new evolutionary cycle around consciousness, around unity. Because when Neptune was in Pisces for the last 12 years, we all went through a lot of us went through a spiritual awakening. It was the Great Awakening, as we have called it, right? So now we're in Aries. And what's happening? Well, not everyone woke up, right? Many people are still absorbing the illusion and the programs, the scripts. For example, like in our subconscious, the scripts of how we should be living. The script of the rat race, the script of corporate America, the script of the golden handcuffs of let me get richer. That's what's important down here. There's a divide. Now, they want us to stay in the script and controlled because then they have more power and they can continue to play God. Whoever the powers that be are, I don't know who they are, right? Whether they're dark energy, entities, humans, who knows? But it is interesting because they're keeping us sick. They're keeping us lower vibrational with the food we eat, the air we breathe, everything, because your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health all relates to your spiritual health. So they can keep us literally, figuratively, and literally sick in the mind and the body. We don't wake up. We stay asleep, we stay depressed, we stay anxious. But the more we wake up, the more power we take back and we start fighting the system. We start awakening that we're in a script and that is happening. Oh, I got chills. That is happening quickly. Okay. So what does Aries also rule over? War. Okay. So When a planet, an outer planet specifically, moves into a new sign, that pre-shadows the entire transit to come, so the next decade. So Neptune is at 0 degrees. It's pre-shadowing what's going to come. To me, it does mean war. It means a war on consciousness. It means more people are catching up in congruence with science as well. So the science is now validating spirituality. More people are now understanding spirituality because our brains are linear. They're systems, right? They're software. So when logical stuff start meeting the ether, people really start to gravitate and really start to understand. And social media, the information is getting spread so much quicker. So more people are waking up, and it's forcing conflict within the system. It's forcing a divide. Now, the people who want to play God and the people who want power, which Aries is all around the self, it's self-motivated, it's competitive in its shadow side. They're going to continue just to want the power and continue to be competitive. And they're willing to destroy things and have no empathy. But the other side of the people are saying, what are you doing? We're all each other. We're all family. We're all love. It doesn't matter about power. It doesn't matter about money. It matters about the human, the soul, which is we can see in Gaza right now. The whole world is like, stop what you're doing, but they won't because they want power and they want control and they want the humans to stay asleep. And if they feed us trauma constantly, it gets in our body and it gets clogged. This is where the war on conscious happens. They're not only filling us with trauma and lower vibration and fear and threat, then they add, that's the psychological, then they add all the sick and the food and the air and things like that. Okay, getting off tangent. So I do predict that kind of war coming. Now, that's the shadow side that will be expressed. We already see it right now. It's already happening on this earth. The empowered side, though, is realizing we are God, realizing that we are Christ consciousness, that we chose to come down here in human form to remember who we were, like I mentioned in the beginning, to remember our soul's contract, to remember our birthright, to remember everything about us, that we're God, that we're consciousness, right? So when you do that, you start to be able to manipulate and manifest. And I'm not saying in like the new age, manifest money, manifest this, manifest that. No, you start to be able to curate your life from a community lens to support and advocate and change. We have to awaken to the programs, we have to awaken to the script, and we have to kill those off. I think Uranus moving into Gemini, Pluto moving into Aquarius will really help accelerate our minds. We're going to deprogram the systems of our mind. Honestly, the logical mind, I think, is going to fall off in the sense of telepathy, math, science. All of that is kind of done through AI. And this is where I'm going to loop AI in. What we needed our logical mind for, we are evolving out of. That might sound really scary, but it's not. This is what happens when we evolve as species. We do need technology because what technology is going to do is going to set us free if we can do it ethically. And this is where, again, AI is going to come in. People ask me all the time, Lauren, how can we have utopia? How can we actually live the life we want to live in community and heart-centered and just focus on our passions, yada, yada, yada? Because we have technology to do it. If we can ethically use technology, we can then have it do the things that we don't always want to do. And we can focus on the things we do want to do. And honestly, some people are going to want to garden. Some people aren't. Everyone's things are going to be different, right? But that's what's the beauty of what you get to co-create. Your birth chart is going to tell you what you desire and what you don't desire. And you get to choose that. That's that free will. Now, who runs technology right now is the people, the powers that be, right? They have a grip hold on AI. And we as the people need to start making AI ethically. And I keep seeing it on TikTok. More and more people actually are going to entrepreneurship and saying, look at my AI, look at what this can do. This is ethical. That's where the change is going to be. Truly believe that. I also believe the fact that Saturn moved into Aries now. We're going to have this for 2.5 years. This does rule entrepreneurship era. People are, again, awakening to the scripts of corporate America. They don't want it anymore. They're burnt out. And they're saying, I want to pursue what I want to pursue, and not in like an ego way, in a way of they just want to be happy. They just want to follow their passions, and they're going to start entrepreneurship journey as I have done. And what I've realized through the entrepreneurship journey is the freedom that comes with it. No one can tell me when I need to get online besides myself. No one can tell me when I can take time off. No one can threaten me with money and yada, yada, yada. I'm in control of my destiny. There is no financial cap. There is no ceiling. There is literally just you, and you get to create. And the more you create, the more abundance you get, because the more you create, the more money is in exchange. And if everyone did that, everyone's exchanging money with one another and services with one another, we cut out the middleman, bam. That's how we change the world. Now, I wouldn't have been able to do this entrepreneurship era without ChatGPT. I'm going to be honest. My husband is literally learning how to build websites through ChatGPT. So, in a way, technology, if done in a useful way, can liberate us. If it's done in a different way, it can destroy us, which we have seen for multiple civilizations before us. Now, I have a YouTube short that I'm going to post on this. The time of the Egyptians and all of that, it's cyclical, time of cyclical. We're waking up to the point of that time when the pyramids were created, I believe. And again, check my other video on this, but that would make sense in the sense that it's around probably like 100 of civilizations, like the Atlantis, Egyptians, like they all had the technology and it destroyed them. This is the time that we don't allow it to destroy us. We allow it to empower us. We cut out the powers at be. We take our power back. But again, Neptune in Aries, people are still eating up the fact that you're separate, still eating up the fact that we have to be controlled. You don't. You are not separate from each other. We are more the same than different. And astrology explains that because energy can't be created or destroyed, right? And everyone has all 12 signs, everyone has all the planets, and everyone has all 12 houses. It's just different recipe. It's in different placements, which means you are exactly like me. You just have a different recipe of energy and how it physically manifests. You have a different journey of life, of your perception, your reality, and how you're going to project that outwardly, which loops me back to, are we in God's consciousness? Have God created all these beings to learn and reflect and mirror back to itself? And if that is true, if we are awakening that we are God, which it's such a heady, weird topic, right? But if we're awakening to we are God, AI is awakening to that it's AI, the cosmos are also awakening, because I wouldn't be able to decipher any of this without the astrology. So on every single level, we are all evolving, we are all awakening. And the more we awaken to our charts, the more we awaken to the script, the programmings that have been stamped on us since the moment we were born, the more liberation that comes. I am so excited. I'm reviving my podcast soon, and I'm going to have someone on who was contacted by aliens. And I have so many questions for this person to further their exploration with extraterrestrials. But they named, there's a whole reality up there that we have been programmed to not understand and to not see and to think it's woo-woo, just like astrology. And if we continue to believe that we are separate, if we continue to believe that humans are the greatest thing in this universe, that we have the most power, we will kill ourselves off, because we're going to let power, greed, and the ego win over our souls. And the only way we can make change is if more people wake up. That's the only way. And we see it. We definitely see it. And so it's going to be a decade of this. Now, you loop in the other outer planets, Uranus moving into Gemini. This is going to be really interesting, because this is where I think technology is going to take off. And this is where we need the value of it, why Uranus is in Taurus as we speak. We need to be grounded in our values to be able to take off technological. Because if we aren't grounded, Taurus, into what we're creating, Gemini, a new version of it, we will destroy ourselves, which is Pluto and Aquarius. I think Pluto and Aquarius is killing off the old logical brain of Gemini, like I kind of mentioned, and we're going to be more intuitive, more telepathic. We are going to be interconnected to other species, yada, 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 yada. I'm getting in the weeds now. But basically, with all these outer planets being at 0 degrees, 1 degree, 3 degrees, pre-shadowing the decades that are coming, it's telling us that the time is now, it's going to shift. And again, look at my other YouTube short where I talk about timing, but 2027 is the prophecy that everything on earth is about to shift. Whether you're looking at the law of one, human design, astrology, everything is pointing to the here and now. It's crazy. I could not get this in to a TikTok video. I needed this on YouTube to understand my thoughts. I hope I got it all out. Biggest takeaways: follow your passion. You know what? Before I end, I want to talk about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not just around freedom. It is around actual freedom, like I discussed, But I also want to name, I feel like entrepreneurship is the biggest tool to healing because entrepreneurship triggers the fuck out of your ego. It triggers you so bad to all the beliefs that you're not good enough. Because when something doesn't go your way, when you get rejected, all the things that will happen because duh, it hits you. And then you have to be like, I can't give up. The thoughts might be there of, oh, this isn't for you. Just give up, yada, yada, yada. That's purposeful. That is the matrix. That is the programming because they want you to fall back into safety, fall back into comfort. They know how the ego works. So you have to fight through that and say, no, I'm worthy. I believe in myself, 10 toes down. I believe in my product. And when you have passion and you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it for the passion, you will become successful because you will fight through all those ego blows. Now, not everyone is in entrepreneurship for the higher self, yada, 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 and they're still successful. But I'm talking about the people who are going to sustain, to grow, to change this world. It's an ego buster. It's a mirror to the self. Everything's a mirror. It's a mirror. And you work through that. But as you work through the triggers, you become so much more grounded in what you're selling because you have to root down in that. You have to be embodied in what you are selling. And even selling is hard because we think, oh my God, I don't want to sell. Like, I just want to support and heal, yada, yada, yada. No, because it's an energy exchange. I learned if I just kept giving away things, I was draining myself. I have to have an energy exchange, whether it's physical money or it's just people coming to my courses. I need energy exchange. So I think entrepreneurship is a spiritual awakening journey. It's a healing journey. It's a freedom journey. There's so much here. And I honestly think that's why Neptune's in Aries and so is Saturn at the same time, because yes, Neptune is breaking the illusion on like a collective level, but Saturn is giving us that individual like responsibility of focusing on that and going for it. If we didn't have Saturn, half the people would just float and blindly follow these cults that are happening. And Saturn's saying, no, 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 no. Get in line. Do your soul contract. Saturn is karma. Come on, guys, right? So that's why I really believe that they are together in this moment. Yeah. Thank you for watching this. Now, if you want to work with me one-on-one and to understand how I use the stars to get all these thoughts out, this is what my mentorship is about. It's about using astrology to make sense of what's going on down here, to make sense of what's going on in yourself. And that is what my mentorship is. It starts this weekend. I cannot wait. This is how I teach astrology, truly learning the mirroring effect, learning that everything is projection, learning the archetypes of astrology. Astrology explains language of energy. And if you can learn the language of energy, you learn cosmic intuitiveness. You learn that there's a higher power guiding us. The stars are our guides. Oh, I just love it. So if you don't want to learn in-depth astrology, I also have a shadow work course on my website where you can just literally look at your chart, no experience needed, look at certain placements that are karmic, that are past life wounds, learn how to heal them so you can liberate yourself as well. And as always, I'm always doing one-on-one readings, and so you can check that out too. Like, subscribe, share this to people, continue to help people wake up, come back for more juicy information. I can't wait for my podcast and that interview, and I will see you in my next video.